Let's dig deep into the negative comments in the comment section of my latest reel, showcasing my transformation from being vegan of 5 years all the way to being an omnivore for 5 years. There were some negative, nasty comments, so I figured today I would take you along with me in my kitchen as I cook some homemade chicken broth and talk about all these negative comments I received. Huge big bag of stuff. For the chicken broth, we are going to need just a couple of things. We're gonna need a bunch of celery, an onion, a big head of parsley. We are going to need our big chicken, a full chicken here. And also, I got some organic carrots. That is all we are going to need. I'm gonna grab my big pot, I'm gonna fill it up with water, and we're gonna get going. And I'm gonna go through this first negative comment I received. All right, so while I cut my carrots, I'm going to let you guys watch the reel first, and then we'll dive into it.
I'm so hungry, like so hungry. I do it on low heat with no oil because, like I mentioned yesterday, I don't cook with oil. Such a quick meal, completely plant-based, oil-free, done.
You can see the difference, right? It's quite shocking to me how much changed over the past couple years as I've reintroduced animal products.
Favorite little snack right now? I don't know why, I just love these so much. Have you guys ever eaten these? They're little tiny chlorella tablets. They're just literally little bites of algae. That sounds super gross.
All right, okay, I'm about to dive into the first comment, but I have to just share that I just realized that I left my huge big pot at a friend's house. And so I have this very medium, totally not big enough size pot to cook my chicken broth in. I think what I'm gonna end up having to do, this is sad, but I'm gonna end up having to like cut the chicken in half and cook half of it today and like half of it tomorrow. So anyways, get a huge pot, don't get a tiny pot like this. So first off, with this reel, it's a pretty big transformation, right? Like, I think everyone would look at this and go like, yeah, okay, this girl did a good job by leaving veganism. But of course in the chats, I did not get the same kind of response, right? These definitely need to be washed because they are dirty. Probably gonna do like 3 celery sticks. So with that first video of me doing a response to the like chlorella snacks that I was eating, this person said, why did you include the chips if you weren't going to eat them? Makes me feel like that's going to be the before video in a few years. Like, quote unquote, when I thought I was in recovery versus now video. I thought this was really interesting. So first and foremost, you guys, I'm a content creator. I batch create my reels. So I will spend like all of Monday just like creating reels. I'll try and create like at least 15 reels that day, right? So if I'm incorporating food into like a lot of these reels, I'm not going to be eating every single thing, right? I'm not gonna have 15 meals in a day, but my content still needs to be created. The me grabbing my bag of Tostito chips, which were in my pantry for a reason, I eat them. Like, why would I buy a bag of Tostitos, empty out half of them, and then grab them and use them for this reel? Like, it was just the easiest snack that I like had open in my pantry, so I grabbed those, and it was for the effect of, yeah, when I'm snacking, I snack on things like these chips and not on chlorella tablets. So that's not like me not eating, right? It's like me being a content creator and not being able to eat 15 times a day. But in regards to, it makes me feel like this is gonna be the before video in a few years. I'm like, nothing about my health right now indicates poor health. Like, I literally, guys, feel like I'm at my, I'm gonna swear, but I'm not going to for the algorithm. I feel like I'm at my effing prime right now. Like, I'm turning 29 in like 2 months. I have amazing skin. I have tight skin, right? Compared to the first video, I like literally had droopy, dull, wrinkly skin. Now my skin is like nice and tight and clear and just like kind of full of life. I have good cheekbones. I have like structure to my face again. I have muscle tone. I'm really strong. I have amazing digestion, like amazing digestion. and I sleep well, my hair is thick and strong. I'm like, how is this ever going to be the before I got healthy? I honestly just don't know how my health can get better. I have a monthly menstrual cycle that comes on time, that is literally like, it's 3 to 4 solid days of just bleeding, not too heavy of a flow, not too light, just like perfect medium. It's a great bright red. I literally have like, besides like the first day, I'll get a little crampy. Starting day 2, I'm already done with my cramps. So I have a pain-free, on-time monthly menstrual cycle. Again, I just don't understand how this could be the next before video. And also in regards to the chips, I'm like, you obviously don't follow me. Obviously, because if you did, you would see in all of my Instagram stories that like literally even the night before I ate like a whole big thing of like cheesy pull apart fries, right? And I had it with a side of like lamb, rice, and like this big kind of like dish thing. I'm constantly eating out. I'm constantly eating very nutrient dense foods. I made a big ossobuco the other day with a big thing of pasta and the fatty meat that was cooked in the like broth and red wine and all of that. So I'm like, trust me, I'm not eating, and that's like ridiculous for you to say so, especially when it's like a follower of mine just the day before. So it's so funny about the internet. A follower of mine commented this the day before. She was like, not gonna lie, I'm like jealous of all the food you can eat, maintaining like your physique. I would weigh 500 pounds if I ate that much food. So it's like, you can never win with the audience. Like one person thinks I'm eating enough to gain 500 pounds. The next person thinks I'm totally fooling the world and I'm not eating anything at all. Here's what I have to say about this. The results show for themselves. Hi, here you go. Do I look healthy? Yes. Did I look healthy back then? No. So again, the results show for themselves. So this next person wrote, it's not the vegan diet, it's the extremely restrictive and probably low calorie diet. You can share your lessons from that period in your life without blaming veganism. I'm not even vegan myself, but I had to comment because you can't blame an ED on veganism. Vegans get enough SHIT as it is, while they're the ones consuming ethically. Ethically. I can't say that word. Ethically. Okay. So here is the thing. When I was 14 years old, I was diagnosed with Anna. I'm not gonna say the full thing for the algorithm. I don't know what the algorithm hates or likes right now. By the time I was 20 years old, I fell into orthorexia. So at this point, I was like, I wanna be healthy, I wanna get my period back, I wanna eat well, I wanna eat enough, I'm gonna go vegan. Because that's what I thought was healthy and good. And so at that point, I was eating enough food. Like the only reason my parents got off my back and still allowed me to like go back to college and live on my own was because they were like, well, technically she's eating a lot of food. I would eat like a ton of bread, a ton of nut butters, and to eat like big quinoa bowls. Like I was eating consistently and I was eating a lot of food. I was like obsessed with like buying like, the farmer's market, someone sold these like vegan cheeses and vegan pâtés, and I would like spend so much money buying all these things. I was eating all of that stuff all the time. Calorically, I don't think I was like under eating for the main part of my vegan diet. Now, the last like 6 months of my vegan diet is when I decided to go raw vegan because I was dealing with so many issues. I was having digestive issues, I was having skin flare-ups, like acne, things like that. I just wasn't feeling good at all. So I was like, you guys, I must need to go raw vegan. Like I obviously am not getting the nutrition I need by eating this processed food, like vegan diet. So I'm gonna be a little bit more stricter. And that's when my health like took another deep dive, but I think it was just kind of expediting what would have happened in the next like 2 years of my vegan lifestyle. And so anyways, back to my point here, again, I wasn't dealing with Anna at the time, so I wasn't trying to restrict and like not eat enough calories. I was seriously just dealing with orthorexia, which was, I was just trying to eat well. And so yes, while Anna definitely played into my health, I think the point too that I try and make is in a depleted state coming out of my eating disorder, veganism couldn't support me. It just could not support me no matter how many supplements I had, no matter, where's my chicken? There you go. No matter how many supplements I was taking, no matter how many superfoods I was doing, moringa and chlorella and spirulina, and I was doing I was doing whatchamacallit, like I was doing the Vega protein powder shakes all the time. Like I was eating, again, I just really couldn't, I couldn't get back my health eating that way. Before I open this, let's look at the next one. This person said, lots of people don't know how to do a vegan diet properly. Okay, why does it need to be so hard? Like why, after 5 years of me being vegan, I've intensely like researching and listening to Dr. McDougall, Dr. Greger, listening to all of these people, why could I not figure it out? Like, why was it so hard? And then why, after just literally 4 months of me going, you know what? I'm gonna eat everything. I'm gonna eat eggs, I'm gonna eat butter, I'm gonna eat steak, I'm gonna do all of this. 4 months later, I get my period back and I completely weight restore. It wasn't that complicated. And at that time, I also was eating a lot of processed food. I was eating Oreos, I was eating cookies, I was eating cake, I was eating all this stuff, and yet my health radically improved. I think that goes to show just like how important the animal products were. But she said, you can absolutely do it right. This looks like you are obsessed with deprivation, and that's not what veganism is about. I wasn't really focused on deprivation in my vegan diet days. If you chose to be plant-based, you needed to focus on live, living foods in abundant amount, superfoods, regeneratively ground plants in micronutrients. Okay, so this is interesting because I'm like, I worked on an organic farm, one of the largest organic farmers back in my hometown in California for 6 years. I was getting the best of the best quality produce, literally for free. The farmer's market out in Santa Barbara, where I'm from, they literally trade and barter for like everything. So I, at that point in my life, was actually very rarely going to a grocery store. I remember when I finally quit this job and I started going to the grocery store, I was like, this is so weird. Like, I'm not used to spending money on food, and I'm not used to going to the grocery store to get all these things. Sorry, I'm trying to cut this, and it's actually like, maybe I need scissors. I'm gonna kill myself here. Anyway, so I was eating, there was this sprout farm at the farmer's market, and I was eating a ton of sprouts. So a ton of those micronutrients that she's talking about. I was like, again, I was eating those things. She said, I've been vegan for over a decade and pretty close to vegan for 20 years. What? Okay. I'm going on 40 years old, and I've got gorgeous glowing skin and long lush hair. I've birthed 4 children, and I'm strong and have more energy than ever in my life. I like to say going vegan is like having sex. If you're not enjoying it, you're doing it wrong. Well, so that's the thing, like, I was enjoying it. I enjoyed my vegan diet. Like, I loved eating that way. I loved using all the vegetables I was using. Like, I loved it. I just couldn't sustain health on it. And here's the thing, every single person is different. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know her health markers. And just like me, I was like, I'm so healthy for the whole time I was vegan. And then in reality, I like wasn't, because once I became unvegan, like once I started eating everything, I started realizing like, oh wow, I actually was not healthy. And so you never know if someone is living, sorry, I'm trying to get all of this in. There you go. Get the little gizzards inside. Okay. You never know if someone's just living on high cortisol, because that was me for so many years. And I was like, I feel great, I feel fun, I'm so energetic. And I'm like, yeah, I was like crazy manic energetic. I was high cortisol energetic. So you never know with her. But then again, to my point, I was like, I'm just sharing in this video. I was just sharing my transformation. Sorry, again, I'm butchering this chicken because I need to only put half of it into this thing because my pot is way too small. But normally I would not be cutting the chicken. Normally I would just throw it in, way easier. Anyway, so there were a million other comments that I could go through that were pretty much saying like, don't blame veganism, you just weren't doing it right. And veganism has been great for me. And you know, I do think like this girl that's saying that she's been vegan for like 40 years, she's definitely an exception, right? There's not many 40, like going on 40 years vegans out there. Most people are like year 2, year 3, maybe we got some like year 5s really popping up. But if you look online, you'll see that the drop-off rate for people leaving veganism really starts to happen at like year 3. So a lot of people end up being like, whoa, never mind. Like I was feeling good for a bit and now I just feel totally depleted. Gosh, this is harder than it seems, guys, but I have faith in me for being able to figure this out. One thing to keep in mind as well, guys, is that my page is for girls who deal with EDs. And listen, I really do just want to stay out of the whole like debate of whether veganism is healthy or not. I want to stay out of that. And my work is simply just to focus on, is it supportive enough for recovery? And with that, like, I'm sorry, you can't refute it. It's a diet that is missing in so much just vital nutrients, and it's, you know, blocking you from being able to say yes to just eating food and to exploring new stuff and to traveling and eating with others, that no, I have to say that I really, truly, honestly do not think that it is suitable for someone who is trying to heal from an energy debt, trying to heal from an ED, to go vegan. I'm gonna stick to that because I've worked with enough ladies now to see this whole process take place, right? Like, I know how that ends up, guys, and it is not pretty. This is insane. I would never be doing this, guys, never. It's like embarrassing that I have to do this right now. The vegans in the chat literally right now. Okay, all right, I'm going to put a bunch of salt in this. I got my thing here. I'm gonna wash my hands well, put a bunch of salt in this, and then we'll move it to the stove. I think overall it is just funny how someone could look at me now and think that like me deciding to eat meat again was a bad idea. Like I genuinely think that that's so interesting. But I'm like, can't you see that I like look and sound and feel way better? Can't you see that I'm no longer sick? And so I feel like it's so interesting that they really like doubt you and you should have stayed vegan. I'm like, it's like, no, I shouldn't have. I should have been proactive about my health, which is what I did, and healed from all of my things and got my period back, which guess what? Again, which is what I did. I like to put Italian seasoning in my chicken broth. Just a lot of this, a lot. And then a lot of pepper. All right, we are going to move this to the stove and we are going to cook it slowly for like 3 hours. Don't forget the lid because this is important too. Perfect. I'm gonna bring that to a boil and then let it simmer. Okay, so I apparently now have another half of a chicken to like figure out what to do with. So I am just going to rub this down with some olive oil. Yep, and then I'm going to put some of this. This is just like a regular meat seasoning, parsley, black pepper, like all of that type of stuff. It's kind of yum. Ooh, yeah, perfect. So I want to share, I want to leave it with this. I want to share what this person put. She put, this was exactly my experience in veganism. I was for years, I conducted hours and hours of research to do it the best way. I consulted doctors. I did everything as well as I could, and I still almost died of organ failures. And for the vegan warriors in the comments going to bat for a diet that doesn't work for everyone, shame on you. It is inappropriate to say this on a video of a woman who clearly was sick and is now recovered. How dare you dismiss her illness in the name of a diet? Please develop empathy, learn compassion, see past barriers of what diet we choose, and in the common ground we share, the desire to live full, healthy lives. For some people, it is not possible to do that on a vegan diet. Get better soon, y'all. I loved that, like literally loved it, because it's so true. It's like, again, here I am recovering from all of my things, right? And fully nutritionally rehabilitating my body back to health after all the damage I did to it through the years of me going on all these diets. And all I get is, you should have tried harder. This is a disgrace. Why are you doing this? This is really just your ED. I'm like, even if it was just my ED, then it's still my experience. I'm still just sharing, this was me then in an ED, right? Like, this is my experience of being someone who went through EDs and then tried to get out of it being vegan and it didn't work, and then finally made my way out by eating an omnivorous diet and having good health doing that. Like, then that's my experience. What else do you want from me here? Isn't that like what I'm here to just share? Because the girls I'm talking to are people who have gone through EDs. that's who I talk to in my comments. That's who I work with one-on-one and in all of my programs. So when I say anything I do about the vegan diet, I'm really talking again about that perspective of, in recovery, is this gonna be supportive? No. That's it for this video. I'm gonna put this chicken in. I'll give you a quick little B-roll of what the broth ended up looking like. I'm making a mushroom risotto for tonight, and so this broth is gonna be used to cook my boro rice in. I'm very excited about that. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good one.